My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. For this trip, I'm out here to field test a Mardingtop backpack. Today in this episode, we are heading 1.5 miles downhill and then 1.5 miles back up. This is one of my favorite trails for testing out backpacks because it really does a good job of showing their strengths and weaknesses. Very steep down, very steep up. It's a good test. This is their 65-liter pack. I'll give you the full name here in just a moment, and I'll also take the pack off and show it to you. This is not my first trip out with this backpack. In fact, I just got back from an overnight adventure with this backpack where I carried it for roughly 10 miles. Already, I have a good idea of how this backpack performs, but some additional testing is needed. That way I can give you all the most thorough review possible. That way you can make your best decision. You can decide whether or not you want to purchase this pack. All right, folks, let's take this pack off. I'll tell you what, let me do a 360 for you real quick. Now, let's take a quick look at this backpack. So this is the name of the product, everyone. This is the Mardingtop 65-liter MOLLE hiking internal frame backpack with rain cover for camping, bushcraft, and military. I love the names of these products. Just like throw everything in there, you know what I mean? Anyways, everyone, this is again a 65-liter backpack. You can see that it's covered in MOLLE webbing here, and it does look tactical in nature, just like all of Mardingtop's products. Just in case you're not aware, Mardingtop is a Chinese company, and they make very inexpensive tactical style backpacks. They have larger packs and day packs as well. With this pack here, the torso is fully adjustable, which is nice. Now, folks, I'm going to continue hiking down this mountain, and once we get down to the bottom, we'll take a close look at this backpack and go over every single feature. Before I came out on this trip, I watched a handful of reviews for this backpack on YouTube. Not all of them, but a handful. And I have to question whether or not the reviews, at least that I saw, whether or not these individuals tested out this product before reviewing it. Already I have a few issues with this backpack, and for some reason, nobody's mentioned these points yet, at least in the videos that I've seen. A few points to mention about this trail. Because this trail is so steep and there's so many obstacles, it does a good job of exposing weaknesses of backpacks. As far as comfort goes, this pack does have some issues. And unfortunately, they're not issues that could be solved with adjusting the pack itself. I made it past the creek. That's good. It wasn't easy, but we got it done. I was having to jump from debris pile to debris pile. Luckily, my feet stayed dry. One of the biggest issues with this backpack, everyone, is that the hardware doesn't hold the straps into place. They will continuously come loose. So the entire time I've been out for this trip, I've been having to stop and readjust. Like all of a sudden my back starts hurting, and it's because this backpack is so loose. That's a big problem. Something else I don't like about this backpack is the fact that I cannot access the water bottle pockets. That is a shame. Well folks, as an update, it's time to adjust the backpack again. I mean, that's ridiculous, everyone. It's absolutely ridiculous. All in all, that was a good hike down here, but I have to say that overall this pack performed very poorly. And we might as well talk about that. I was actually going to wait until the end, but I've changed my mind. So there's numerous issues taking place with this backpack, and I'll talk about them in just 1 second. I need some water, and also I need to cool off a little bit. It's pretty warm today. It's about 65 degrees. And carrying this heavy loadout down the mountain, even though I'm going downhill, it was quite the chore. At least there's a nice breeze today, everyone. That does feel good. Okay, so problem number one with this backpack, the harness system, the straps come loose. Unfortunately, this hardware is not good enough to hold those straps into place. Something else I don't like about this backpack is the way that the frame is attached to the pack itself. it's almost like separate from the rest of the pack, meaning that like the pack isn't really intertwined with the frame, and the frame itself isn't that great. Basically, it's a very flimsy sheet of plastic that has 2 aluminum poles in it. Overall, the frame of this backpack is pretty much rubbish. If you have a light loadout, say around 25 pounds or less, it's not too bad, it's doable. But once you go above 25 pounds, you really begin to notice how inferior this is. At the same time, the pack, because the frame is so flimsy, the pack isn't very rigid. So check this out. Let me show you in a different way, a different perspective. So you could see my backpack here. As you're hiking along, no big deal. But let's say that you have to turn sharply, you have to go around a tree or something. The weight will shift just like this. It just flies around. And that's because like the pack itself is not well connected with that frame. And again, the frame itself is very flimsy, so it flexes a lot. And you could see that flex, and that's why this pack is going like this. As you all can see here, the pack has load lifters, but guess what? The hardware does not hold them into place. So as you're hiking, you're bouncing around, the weight's moving, the weight is putting tension on those, they stretch out. And then of course, the backpack becomes more uncomfortable. As far as the waist belt goes, I have some pros and cons. Overall comfort, not bad. There are pockets here, but they're too small to use. I mean, seriously. I could barely get my thumb in this pocket. It's hilarious. On the other side, you have some mesh, and it's really small. It's even smaller than the other one. I could just barely get my finger in this. I'm going to do a 360, then take the pack off, and we'll go over all of the features of this system. At the top of the backpack, you have 2 compression straps. Behind that, you have some PALS webbing. Behind that, you have a zippered pocket, which gives you access to the inside of the lid. This is a good size pocket here. On the front of the lid, you have some Velcro for patches and so on. You have 2 buckles. And the lid could then pull back just like this. The lid is attached to the backpack, so it cannot be removed. On the front here, you can see you have 2 compression straps. You have some PALS webbing. And with this pocket here, you can access the inside of the backpack. That is a pretty nice feature. Additionally, you have 2 elastic gear loops, 1 on each side, and you have corresponding loops at the bottom. Down here, we have the sleeping bag compartment. We have 2 compression straps, 3 lines of PALS webbing, 2 YKK zippers, and this is the sleeping bag compartment. And I can tell you that this is a very good size compartment here. You could fit small sleeping bags such as this, or you can fit larger ones. It really is a large amount of space. It's a large pocket. On the inside, you have a divider that separates the sleeping bag compartment from the main body of the pack. And you can open this up if you want to. On the bottom of the backpack, you have multiple lines of PALS webbing, and you also have a rain cover in a zippered pocket. When it comes to the sides of this backpack, you have the same features. You have hydration sleeves that feature a compression strap, and you have 3 lines of PALS webbing across the body. And then up at the top, you have an additional compression strap, and also a large sleeve that goes down the side of the pack to right about here. That's about 9 inches by 8 inches. On the other side, you have the exact same features. When you're looking at the back of the pack here, you have a grab handle, you have load lifters. Some of the worst load lifters I've ever seen. Not only do they come undone, but also because of the way that they attach to the pack itself. They are attached to this material here, which is not directly attached to the frame. The frame itself is super flimsy. So check this out. You can actually see the frame right here. Watch this. You can bend it just like that. The frame itself is just terrible. Because it's not rigid, these load lifters don't work very well. So they really don't pull the weight of the pack towards your shoulders. It pulls the material and it pulls the frame, but it does absolutely nothing to your loadout. So in other words, I absolutely hate these load lifters. They don't work very well. You do have the harness here, which is quite comfortable, to be honest. You have some elastic loops, some straps so you can hang things. You have some plastic D-rings so you can hang things. You have a sternum strap, and naturally these straps are adjustable. Behind that, you have an adjustable torso system, which can be raised and lowered. You have quite a bit of padding here. You do have some separation, so overall ventilation isn't terrible. Going down, unfortunately, you do not have any lumbar padding. It's basically completely flat with the rest of the backpack. If you had some lumbar padding with this pack would be more comfortable. Then you have the waist belt, the buckle, and the 2 side pockets, which are worthless. Going up to the top here, you have a compression strap, and you have a draw pull. This is draw pull number 1. Then you have draw pull number 2. Now that the pack is empty, let's talk about what's on the inside. So first things first, up here at the top we have a support for a hydration bladder. We also have a hydration sleeve. You can see that we have this zippered pocket. That opens up and exposes the frame. Look at this, folks. Look at how flimsy. I mean, it might as well be a piece of paper. So there are the aluminum rods, and you can actually pull these out. But this is why the backpack just flip-flops. This frame is terrible. It's just awful. Going down into the pack itself, you have a hydration sleeve that's rather large. Again, you have that divider separating the compartments, and it can be opened if you want to. But outside of that, those are the features. Now, I do want to point this out, everyone. This is my second trip out with this pack, and already the material on the backside here is beginning to basically rip apart. That's with 2 trips out with this backpack, and me being as gentle as possible with it. One more time, everyone, I want to show you all how this pack interacts with this frame here. So the frame starts basically along this seam. It's almost like the bag itself is independent, and that's not the way it should be. You can push down on it and watch the frame here. It just bends. Now everyone, let's go over some stats real quick, and then we'll head back up the mountain and wrap this up. The dimensions of the main body of the pack is 33.4 inches long, 11.4 inches wide, and 8.3 inches deep. The weight of this pack is 5.9 pounds on my scale. As far as the materials go, the company states a 600 denier polyester with YKK buckles and YKK zippers. This is available in 4 colors. Army green, which you see here. There's a black, and an army green that actually looks pretty cool, and there's a khaki brown. The price of this is $95, and the company does not state a load range for this backpack. Well, my friends, it is all uphill from here. I will see you all at the top, and that's where I'll wrap this up and summarize my thoughts about this backpack so far. Whew. Oh man, guys, this pack is really getting on my nerves. To wrap this up and to summarize, with the first trip that I did with this backpack, I was noticing that something was taking place, but I wasn't sure what it was. In this episode, I confirmed it. The hardware simply is not good enough to hold the straps into place. And the more weight that you have inside of this backpack, the more apparent that becomes. For $100, I think you can do better than this backpack. Overall, the design of this pack isn't that great, and the frame is terrible. Just terrible. You can see how flimsy that frame is. Anyways, folks, I'm done. I may make this my review for this backpack because the flaws that it has are so great I don't know why I would continue testing it out. I mean, yes, you could replace the hardware. That would do quite a bit for the pack. Replacing the frame is possible. You just have to find something that would work or make it yourself. In the end, I do not think this pack is worth $95. So I'm done for now. Make sure to sound off in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts. What do you all think about this 65-liter backpack from Mardingtop? If you have this pack, what are your thoughts? Do they match my own? Of course, they don't have to. I'm here to share my thoughts, my opinions. I explain why something doesn't work, or why I don't like something, or how it failed. I try to explain the science behind it. So again, sound off in the comment section down below. Everyone take care, be well, strength and honor. See you later, everyone.